Peace. Greetings. Been a little minute. Trust all is well with everybody that's going through things. There's a little wind where I'm at, so if it is a little choppy, then beyond my control. But other than that, give honor to source, give honor to ancestors known and unknown. Big ups to you too as well. You that are still doing your best to navigate these ever-changing moments. Taking a little stroll right now, so if you hear the princess, that's her just doing her own thing in a stroller. So I didn't know when I was going to make this video. I don't even know how. Not really concerned about the duration. You know, we're having a lot of things purged. We all going through our own individual shifts. It looks different. So let me remind you all of that. It looks different than everyone else. Your perception, your decisions, your actions, your everything is perceived differently, processed differently, whether that be emotionally, mentally, spiritually. Your reaction, your response is different than everyone. I love my background music. But I just wanted to share this with you because I had to feel some things before I came here. I just want to let a lot of you know that, especially a lot of us that are a part of this grand shift, these ever-changing moments where it looks like the world is ending for some that are aware that it's like a new beginning on the horizon, because in that process of things ending, we're giving birth to the new. So again, that looks different for everybody. No one has it all together. Let me remind you. No one has it all together. Not even myself. What if I put my hoodie on? Would that help? That might help it. Yeah, it probably will help me. No one has it all together. It's like try to tell someone, it's like not try to figure it out, not to try to do everything in one day. What is that? Something came to me. I believe I expressed this. Either it came to me or I was expressing this to someone. Is that we are purging. A lot of things are illuminating from, and when I mean the depths, you're talking about, a lot of us, you know, this generation, 2030s or whatever, you're talking about now figuring out, coming to the awareness that your body, not just physically, but a lot of us are physically, mentally, spiritually, emotionally exhausted. And the reason I'm speaking about this is it's like you're talking about purging and a lot of things illuminating, coming out, whether they be secrets, a lot of things what we have built upon these relationships so much, or connections that we deem valued or valuable. And now coming to a lot of self-realization how emotionally draining, how exhausted we have become with these past partnerships, past versions of ourselves. Meaning the old version of ourselves that people still hold so tightly to. You know, I like to speak about my own experiences because I don't like the term stress, but I can't stress this enough for all of you out there, especially men, women. Let me say this and make this very clear. Our healing, because this generation after us isn't lost. The only way the youth will know their importance, if we, the healers, the shadow workers, the ones that face the fears, the things that you're choosing to no longer continue the dysfunction in your lineage, in your family lineage, in your tribe. You are the ones that when you are facing this, the youth is watching. Just as we watched the people before us, we watched their actions, their moves, their everything. And in that process, we developed those same behavior patterns. And what I'm saying is this, is that we didn't have those people who showed us the importance of facing our greatest fears, facing the traumas, the childhood traumas. So in that process, that dismantles the foundations before that those adults before us built. And so in that process, which I've learned through a lot of this, and it got so exhausting with myself, and I've seen it with other people in their partnerships, or just seen it play out, is when this dismantling or you're destroying the illusions of others and coming in and changing the narrative and choosing to rewrite something, that comes with a lot of backlash. That comes with a lot of slander or whatever. But again, my message is we're talking about years, y'all. Years of so much programming of what we learned, and now we're facing it. You're talking about years of being in connections with people, whether your mother, father, so forth. You're talking about an emotional connection being built. You're talking about emotional bonds that are now being severed, that are now being, that are now dissipating, because you're talking about 5, 10, 20, 30 years, because it starts when we're a child. You're talking about a building or an emotional cord through trauma. And a lot of us now, I'm now crying for the 5-year-old, well, I don't like to say old, but I'm now still crying for the 10, when I was 10, the 13-year-old, when I was 13, 21, memories coming up. Me thinking that I faced everything, because I expressed to y'all the healing journey is a lifelong journey. I don't care where you are, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s. A lot of these things resurface purposefully. And this always goes back to what I be talking about. A lot of us are purging out a lot of repressed and suppressed emotions. And that repressed is what our caregivers, guardians have been holding on to, and then their mothers and fathers holding on to. So that repressed emotion followed us generationally. And now even me being to this age, a few days now for my solar return where I'll be 34, I'm just now learning what it is, in these previous, I say 2-3 years, what it is honestly to show up for myself in a healthy way. A lot of us having to be our own caregiver, guardian. And I don't just mean materialistically, because anyone can give you a home, anyone can shelter you, anyone can give you these things materialistically. But what I'm speaking about is now a lot of us showing up now emotionally for ourselves, mentally for ourselves. Now reprogramming my mind to believe and know that I am beautiful inside and out. I am healthy. I am loved. I am divine. A lot of men such as myself having to have dealt with so many things, dealing with woundedness from other people who unconsciously didn't know what they were doing. You talking about cultures and people, such as like how they don't see whipping a child or spanking a child as something that would be a form of abuse. How they don't see that connected to some type of, whether it be real or not, in the aspect of like slavery or, whipping. There's no difference. Or how it's connected to that. How, being spoken to in a manner where it's not empowering. You want to eat before you get up, love? Okay, let me know, Daddy. Let me know when you're ready to get up, okay? I'll put your shoes on. Don't rush, baby. Slow. I know the grape's good, but again, yeah, okay, the wind not blowing, but again, you're talking about. I myself have experienced, and even being in partnership now, or just being in any type of relationship, like now coming to that awareness. You're talking about so many years of us not knowing that the most important relationship, the most valuable relationship, the most vital relationship that's should be honored and glamorized and popularized is with yourself. And self being that to the higher power, that connection, because we are made in the image of the creator, of source. So again, we're talking about, when I look at myself, I'm talking about years of having built an emotional bond or connection with the women that I love or that I assume love me. It's not to discredit or devalue that they did not love me or accept me or embrace me, but what I have to acknowledge and take into account that the parts of them that they hated, whether men or women that I experienced, the parts of them that they hated or disliked was a part of their woundedness that no longer could be hidden. As I start to come into my awakening or more awareness on what it is I'm here to do, how I am first accountable for my emotions, my actions. And like I said, it doesn't happen overnight. The healing process is like an onion. Once you peel back one layer, there's another layer. That's something else. If you were shunned in your childhood, you're trying to find your voice again. And this can happen like through the years of your upbringing. This can happen a lot of times when you're talking about, or has a lot of connection with, whether you were shunned or silenced or any connection to what your natural abilities is. I don't care if it's speaking, artistry, music, just something naturally to the depths of your soul that brings you a joy, an endless, everlasting peace, joy, to where that that's what source or the divine wants to reconnect you with. And again, you're talking about not just we're letting go of, you okay, baby? Not just letting go of that aspect or working through or getting through those storms, because those childhood traumas and experiences, what we experienced were storms. So now we're learning to, you want your shoes? Okay, now we're learning now to try not only to be a rainbow in our own life again, but having to try to be a rainbow in everyone else's life but ourselves. Having to try to be there for everyone else's storm but not realizing that we're still in the storm, and trying to, one moment, baby, trying to doing our best to try to even basically saying like we were at a process of living out so much trauma, like literally the trauma in essence, or the darkness was like the storm, and none of us, and a lot of us couldn't see the rainbow. We couldn't see the sun shining after, because a lot of us, there you go, baby, be careful, okay? A lot of us didn't have, or we didn't have very few people. Let me put it up here. Okay.
Oh, it's taking you both.
Baby, you ate all them grapes that fast? Good Lord. But okay, thank you, baby. Okay, let me put yours. Yes, there we go. Yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah. Okay, be careful when you're going up the steps, okay, on the slide. Okay. So again, yeah, it's like, go ahead, baby. The ball over there, baby. So again, come on. So again, having to, now learning to show up for ourselves. You see it right there. To show up for ourselves, to now learning to see the sun again, or to see the light at the end of the tunnel, or more so realizing that I am not only my own storm, which meaning the darkness within my life, but I am also the rainbow, meaning that that's the wholeness of knowing that the storm has its purpose and also the rainbow has its purpose. But again, societally, and what we have seen and been around so much is people who never really saw the rainbow. They convince themselves, or they try to portray it as if their life was peaceful or harmonious, but deep inside there still was a raging storm. You're talking about being in environments and places where, we didn't feel safe. And we convinced ourselves. And I'm not just saying in environments where school, you're talking about, I myself, from my own experiences, grew up in environments where the feeling of not being safe and secure was like the having to experience the woundedness of, people who emotionally wasn't secure. So there was a fight or flight, not knowing when you're coming home into an environment where there'll be a fight again, alcoholism, drug addiction, all these things that were related and could be connected to a lot of, kick it, baby. There we go, good kick. A lot of repressed emotions that they were never shown through their schooling. They never had, you're talking about a lot of caregivers or parents or whatever you want to call them, they didn't have therapy. They was trying to be their own therapist, and even through being their own therapist, they really never knew what it was to get help, because their help, and this is this reality, their help was either government assistance or people who really didn't care about them. Let's be honest, people that really didn't care about them. So you're talking about over time, they're building relationships or developing emotionally dependency on these systems that really, in the reality of it, good kick, baby. In the reality of it was a lot to do with narcissism, with a lot to do with control and manipulation and monitoring. Getting informations to monitor, just again, from my experience, knowing people who grew up in Section 8 homes and all that stuff, and how it was created really not to even have a father there. People don't know about that. you know, not really designed to even, basically a lot of these systems that are dismantling and that were corrupted, which people refuse to see, but now they're seeing it, seeing the corruption and how it corrupted us. And now we're ridding ourselves. It's like our body, a disease. You're ridding yourself of this virus, of the corruption that we all were affected by. Everyone was affected by this. And when I mean everyone, just because you didn't grow up in a certain environment doesn't mean you wasn't affected by it. And unconsciously, you don't even realize you were affected by it because the school systems and all that had played a major part on it. Being that I grew up and went to school systems that were, you know, after I moved back from my father's home, or stay with him, and come back to the Carolinas, and having to go to a school that was predominantly or majority. Kick it, baby. Come on, Daddy's standing up right now because I'm doing this video. There we go. But again, yeah, going to a school that was, which you can consider, I think it was like at the time like 96, 97% what they classified as white or Caucasian people. And we being, if you want, because I don't like to use these terms as like, I'm just going by what it said on the documentation, but it said like Mexican and black, which I do not subscribe to, because again, these are things that I feel that was just created to keep a division and to, you know, to categorize people like cattle or like animals and stuff. So anywho, with that being said, we were considered like, not even, I believe in the rest of the percentage was like 2% black, or I believe that wasn't even a percentage of the Mexicans. I believe they put them together because it wasn't a percentage. Kick it. So again, where I'm getting at, good kick. So again, where I'm getting at is that you're talking about programming and experiences where, which a lot of people don't talk about, is like, you know, unlearning all these things to where you're thinking that, oh, I'm coming to this school, and the first thing when I walk into this school in middle school, hey man, are you gonna play football and basketball for us? Like stuff like that. I'm like, what? So where I'm getting at is like, it's amazing how people don't even see their programming and how they've been programmed. Not just by I mean, I can go on and on. I'm talking about television. I'm talking about from how the fear mongering and how they develop a connection via television on how to perceive a people or any people that look like me, automatically classifying them as being stereotypical, or classifying or passing judgment that, you know, just because they look a certain way that they're angry, or that they're only good for sports. So then when they hear someone who is such as myself, like being in tune or intelligent and knows a lot about things ancestrally and learn about these things, because again, through the programming, I had to unprogram and unlearn the process of like, well, who's teaching me? Why shouldn't I question things? You know, and so again, through these processes, we, even at the age now, we are developing an emotional connection, a mental connection, and having these physical connections with these teachers or people in our communities and neighborhoods. So again, we're talking about over time now trying to heal from that. Why do these people view me like this? Why are they so concerned about what it is I do, how I do it? Because they don't even realize their whole life they've been monitored. It was never really genuine support. Our moms and fathers and people that came before them, they were never supported by a system. They were monitored, surveillance. It wasn't never genuine. It was surveillance. It was monitoring. They never really felt safe. That's why their behaviors, or when you see a mother and a parent or somebody trying to push their kids with so emotion and passion, because the trauma bonding that they have experienced themselves or been suppressed, they reenact these things through their children. So they push them to do the sports passionately, you know, verbally saying, well, if you don't do this, you ain't gonna be this, or you gotta get this grades, or you gotta be like this. But none of which these schools or these universities or whatever you want to call it is teaching you to be first, to believe in yourself. So again, there you go, baby. Okay. So you develop or have already developed an emotional resonance or connection with these teachers growing up, or these people in your environment. Because once you go there, then you go to back home, the reality and actuality where your foundation begins starts at home. But then when you go to these schools, yeah, you're able to act out your emotion, express yourself, express your anger. But then when you're at home or in these environments where people, now you're starting to realize, like, I never felt safe with these people. They never felt safe within themselves. We had mothers who didn't feel secure because they grew up in survival so much. So now you're talking about a survival mode that's been dismantled, and now we're going from survival to thriving. Then you see a lot of people attacking that because outside of their programming, they don't know what to thrive is. What they know to thrive and prosper is survival. And in that survival, there is no fulfillment. They only know what it is to survive. And it affects everybody. And it has affected everybody. I was one of the lucky ones, or honestly, I was being divinely protected, because no matter me getting to this place where I didn't even allow the people that I deemed care about me the most push my natural abilities down to speak, to learn now and to honor my emotions at, now I'm finna be 34, to stand up for myself, to stand up for my inner child, to speak up for the parts of me that were shunned, that were silenced, whether that be with arts, whether that be with a lot of things, going through, again, these school systems or these places where, again, I wasn't celebrated and appreciated for my natural abilities. It was on a grading scale from who, by who knew nothing about my natural arts or my natural abilities. So how and who are these people judging me? What you see now in humanity, you got these people judging. When you see these shows and this stuff, they're judging. And automatically, these people deep down that you see, no matter their age and how they go out there to perform on the stage, which when you look at your life, just as I'm doing right now, I'm playing my role and I'm performing my natural abilities and gifts that were given to me by the divine. So I'm performing. The world is a stage. So when you see the same thing when it comes to these environments in school, it's no different. These systems are not teaching you to be yourself and be number one. No, they're teaching you that, okay, well, if you don't have this grade, if you don't do this, then you're second or you're third. But in reality, again, that doesn't teach you about the value of who you truly are. So again, how are these people or anything that has to do with the fact of who you are, how is that teaching you value and how to value yourself? Because it hasn't. This is the reality. You haven't learned from nobody how to be accountable for yourself, how to be self-sufficient. Because a lot of these people that spoke up, the great Malcolms and the great people who were speaking about certain things about self-sufficiency, how to be there for yourself, they were set up, honestly. They were put in positions where people that look like them, because that's the reality of it. Because the oneness of it all, the divine don't give a fuck about don't care about no color or what nobody looks like. Do you know your value? And so a lot of us, these moments, this lifetime is to regain that value that was lost in your lineages over time through the years. And that value being not materialistically, that value being the timeless, your essence, your currency, meaning your spiritual currency, knowing that you are spiritually wealthy, knowing that you are limitless in all that you do. So again, this goes back to a fact of you're learning or have learned behavior patterns through your own traumatic experience with people who were in your life that never knew what value was. I don't care how much money they had. Did they know the value of loving themselves, self-care, honoring their emotions, knowing to balance what it is to be there for self and then serving others? No. So when I look at these systems, when I look at these environments, you can't pull the wool over certain people's head. Because a lot of us here, the same way it was built is the same way a lot of us are here to destroy it by speaking our truth, by standing in our truth. And through that, people don't fear the illusion of what death is, or they're not afraid of what other people are going to say and their opinions of, a lion doesn't lose sleep over sheep, of the opinions of sheep. So again, there's things that is beyond our control that we can't control people. But the truth of the matter is that some people, the only thing they have to show is their material things. Because they don't know what it is to really have value in themselves. They don't know what it is to really show up for themselves. You're talking about a society environment, don't know nothing about valuing people's emotions. Because their focus is fear. And their focus is pushing a narrative of dividing the youth and classifying people of poor, this and this, when in reality, it's an equal playing field. Because your authenticity is who you truly are, no matter what you have, no matter what comes and what goes. It's just like the seasons. And this is what's so very important right now, the season that we're in, being Scorpio season, because that's all about death and rebirth. A lot of people, you can judge by what you see, just by technology, but you have no idea what it is to be in that person's shoes. You have no idea what it is to walk my path. Because I wouldn't ever compare my path to anyone else. I wouldn't ever, because why should I? And not even the last, let's say 2 to 3 years, I've had 5 to 6 people transition, meaning physical death. Having to hear about certain people that, didn't know it was going to be my last time speaking to them or seeing them in that moment. Then getting calls where you're having people that, all of a sudden out of the blue, because this can happen for everyone differently. All of a sudden out of the blue, like this person's going through this, with their health. Then this person, hearing about people close to me, their health. And now I'm finally at a place, because this is where a lot of healers or a lot of people who have faced their shadows and have had, and I always tell people, you and I have had the same time, duration, whatever it is to heal and face your shit. No one is exempt when it comes to karma to get on the path of dharma. I was expressing to my partner, I'm finally at a place, you're talking about years and years of now finally realizing what it is to value peace, what it is to value peace, what it is to simply be still, what it is simply to learn how to rest again, what it is to simply know what it is to now realize how much I've inflicted my own unhealed wounds and or traumas onto people and still learning that process daily. When I have to get up with my princess and, do certain things where I have to learn now to show up for myself. And even if it's taking an hour or like an hour and a half, this is something that I always push her to do or always express to people. With me, I learned now to really go take an hour and a half or two with myself, no matter where I'm at, to be able to process whatever it is I'm going through. Because a lot of us are trying to process things right now. And what I mean process is just like a computer or something. You're trying to download something. As you upload it, you're downloading it to you. And then you're also trying to, at the same moment, purge or let go of the things that were a virus or that was, like cancerous in your system. Outdated. Old, you know what I'm saying? Outdated versions. Think about that. Like, this is a new version of you, a new season. So, again, people or places, people will have the old version of you. It's like Microsoft. Like, basically, your genetic system of who you are to the divine, you are like a chip, a computer, in the sense of like, you represent this in the grand scheme of things, like something like the significance of who you are, who we are. It's all vital. We represent something to create the whole, like if you look at a computer, or like the whole motherboard system. Even the people that we may think have value, they still are valuable. They still represent the virus that needs to be cleaned out. The system, that's what's happened, I feel, collectively in this shift. I can relate things like that. It don't matter, it's like a garden the same way. I had to learn to get through the process of, I remember with myself, it's like there was moments where I couldn't even look at people's picture because I can feel the energy. And I had to get within myself to where I had to sit with it and learn, like, why am I not at peace with what has happened? And this is the raging war, or not only in the mind, but the raging storm within us all. It's like a hurricane. We are the change, the shift, the winds. We are all these things elementally, if there's a word, that represent something unique to where it helps each and every one to shift. So when someone comes in and say, "Oh, this person, I went through this with, girl," but can you see how, if he or she not came into your life, child or anybody, that smiled that day, that hugged you, or that acknowledged you, or that came in and maybe said some of the most craziest stuff, can you still transmute it, alchemize it? Can you still see yourself? Can you still, I'm just looking at my friend, she just, oh my God, she in her own world playing with, I don't know. I think she having fun. I don't know, but anywho, that be my reminder right there, of why it is so vital, again, the healing journey. And, again, how I expressed to her mother, I was like, wow, and this is the thing, like, even with just multiple people, I may have not liked or may have not liked or agreed with certain people's actions, but I expressed to her mother, and I was like, you know what? Had she not came here, how would I have been to see the bigger picture in the reality of, like, realizing that she reflects the inner child, the innocence that we all are trying to get back to. Everyone won't see this, but this is why I see the importance of the youth, is because they're going through their own spiritual warfare. We think we're going through our healing, they're going through their own spiritual warfare. And what I mean is that the spiritual warfare, not just in the world wherever they go, I'm talking about with coming through the womb before they arrive, and having to experience our fucking unhealed ass. By the way, she's off at a distance, but anywho, having to deal, and this is real, having to deal with our fucking unresolved traumas. Because that's the thing about being a generational curse breaker or breaking generational chains, is that why would I do exactly the same thing that the father and mother that helped co-create and bring me here? Why would I do that? I'm not supposed to. And that's the patterning or the loop that you did see society in, is that, you're telling someone, oh, you need to go do this, you need to go do this. But in reality, I'm still trying to heal from your ass. I'm still, and that's what I'm getting to. It's like the whole purpose of the importance of, and I had someone express to say this. It said your mother and your daughter is going to be very significant, and I see it. And the beauty of that, because it looks different for everyone, but from my experience is that I see the wounded, and this is not to devalue the mother that I came through, because she's unique and beautiful in her own birthright. The reality is that these people, no matter their age, are still trying to find peace and don't realize peace and love and prosperity and harmony is their birthright. So with that, I had to acknowledge, to see the woundedness in the woman that I came through. Because not only was I fighting a spiritual warfare with myself, trying to figure out what it is I'm here to do, but with her own spiritual warfare and unhealed and, traumas or whatever she experienced with her mother and her father, it's like you're in a battle with these people, and now you're at a process where you're learning now that you have to distance yourself and heal from these very people. That's one of the most challenging things. Yes, love. What you have? What is that? Ooh. Go get another one. It's okay. And that's the beauty of it. Not many can see that connection or that polarity to where the darkness can be the things that's hidden. The secrets, the woundedness, the inner wounds that our mothers and fathers or caregivers or whomever raised us or played a major part, whether consciously or unconsciously, their behavior patterns and how it affected us and how it no longer will affect us. But it had to have an effect, however you say it, like have an effect on us. Because that ripple touched us in some way. But then you're able to change and shift that tide to where it can touch many others. So again, I had to see the woundedness, to see the beauty in how me facing my own inner woundings with my own feminine woundings, and that doesn't just mean women. I'm talking about the energy of the darkness, and then having to bring to light, because that's the thing that like motherfuckers want to run from. Like, bro, the acknowledgement, the accountability that I cannot run from the wounding. I'm talking about the repressed emotions with my mother and father, both matriarchal and patriarchal, and with the family lineage. So with that, you're talking about hidden betrayals, you're talking about jealousy, you're talking about a lot of things that, again, through the emotions, what we develop has been passed to us. But don't nobody want to be out here like, oh, I'm Miss Goody Two Shoes, or nah, bro, I'm good, bro. Yeah. Man, bullshit. No, that's not it. Because I'm telling you, when you create a seed or have had kids around you, and when spirit put on your heart to really heal and acknowledge those things, you'll be able to connect with them. Those that are empaths, those that are real sensitive. If you are real sensitive, just like myself, I see the importance of that. You are very and highly gifted, because your sensitivity are your senses, which are your emotions and feelings, which connects you to your natural abilities and your spiritual gifts, which we all naturally have. Those that are in tune and are aware of this. So, because I was expressing to my partner, even the fact of like having seen the emotional manipulation with wounded women, because this is the reality, is that if our people, women, have grew up in survival, they have had to be emotionally manipulative. Because the wounded aspect of them will use their lower nature to get what they want. They will use their mouth to speak these things, whether, whether righteously or unrighteously, or in a way of where they're not even speaking love. Then now these things come forth, and see how that affects the men, and then you wonder why, again, this is a loop. Wonder why the men or the little young boys develop these behaviors and continue it through the young women, through the little girls. See, that shit stopped with me because I realized I was the one to stop that. I told her mother, I said, no, I'm going to be my authentic self in front of her. Just like she expressed her emotions unapologetically, and it just changed like that, I'm going to have my moments too. Because we want to run from the fact of, like, a lot of us, again, you're talking about years of programming where you have developed not only emotionally, mentally, a resonance of these patterns, but you have acted it physically out and repeated it. And you telling me it don't stop with me? Oh shit, it did. So that stuff comes out. So those very people, as I face these things and you heal new levels, it gets easier. It does. It gets much better. Because that new levels, no, we're not doing that, because it does get better. Because as you become more in tune and aligned with source or God, the creator, you get connected, the more protected you are from those very things that want to keep you in the dark. Yes, love. You might have to keep it out there, baby, so it don't fall when you walk. You want to try it again? What was it, a rock? Try to find another rock. Okay? Spirit, it's so funny. But and that's the thing, it's like I see this play out with a lot of people, and how their mothers or people gaslight them and they no longer could do it because they don't realize it's an energy thing. These things that have possessed them, entities, spiritual warfare, whatever they're going through, wants to keep their lineage in the dark. And once you break free, and it's a process, once you eliminate and certain things start to be dismantled and destroyed, it's like you're like, whoa. Then you got to sit with this. Like, that's the thing. I've been sitting with, like, wow, I'm really healing. And in the bigger pictures, I'm not only healing myself, I'm healing, like, the beauty of my princess being here is, like, I realize, like, this helps me more emotionally to meet her mother at an emotional aspect. Not just me, not just her, but with myself. She reflects, and her mother reflects all the feminine woundings. That's the thing we've been running from. No matter what relationship or partnership you're in, that person is going to reflect or mirror back to you everything that you can no longer hide from. But are you able to see the lesson? And see, with that, now I can prepare the sons, because they will do the same thing after. See, that's the generational. When you break the generational chain and curses, then the generational wealth spiritually is them being able to live in their authenticity, to them to be able to express their gifts, for them to be able to know that within themselves that they can stand in their truth, that they are aligned with source, and they can vibrate higher. They can be honest and show up. See, that's the thing, and that what makes a lot of people dangerous, that can't be hidden no more. A lot of us are coming online or becoming aware that, you know what, the power has always been within me. Nothing was really taken from me. That was the illusion of control and fear. So with that, I expressed to my daughter, I said, just as I came here to learn lessons, you did too, love. And I expressed to her, I say, you know what? You got to let them know that, and I've seen this through the woundings of a lot of people. It's like you had to be in those environments where you saw the inner woundings, no matter what people showed on the surface. See how and who were affected by the behaviors of other people. Then seeing, again, it takes a lot of courage. like I had to give myself grace. I cried. I had to do a lot of crying and letting go before I even came to this video, because I had to sit with it first. I had to sit with it first, because no one else could express it to the no one could express it the way I can, because again, no one can express and be you better than you. So only I can deliver this the best way I know how, unapologetically, authentically. So with that being said, you're talking about over time we have now are unlearning these dysfunctionality when it comes to our, the self-abuse, when it comes to these patterns, these behaviors. And that's when your gifts will start to heighten. You'll begin to become really more aware of, like, wow, your purpose. So generationally, you want that to pass on. Not this cycle of, I had to be in those environments where I was judged by, just because of what I didn't wear or care about design, none of that stuff. The creative aspect of me is that I can design myself. I can create that myself, because that's naturally in you. That's naturally in you. It always has been. So for her to see, again, the connection with seeing the woundedness, the past aspect of what has kept things going, can you able to see the significance, whether you have children or will? See the connection where, how you are the fucking bridge. You are the bridge from the storm to the rainbow. You are the bridge out. You are the guiding light. And in that being a guide and accepting that's a deep acceptance, where you have to, the grieving process where you have to distance yourself from these people that that respectfully, and that comes with honoring your truth. I have to really distance myself, because you can't say you didn't see it and didn't see the lessons. They always been there. Because your greater calling will be a greater calling to those who really are aligned with you, who see you, who appreciate you, who celebrate you. But that first has to be something that inwardly that you grasp and embrace again. Because our inner childs are awaiting our arrival to be embraced again. That light that has always been within you, that you didn't know, that you thought that wasn't available, that has always been there. It's us that we're looking for. It's you that you're seeking. And that part of you is waiting to be embraced again, hugged again, loved again. And in that, you're going to cry. You're going to have some snot, some boogers. You're going to be angry. You're going to be frustrated. You're going to be tired. You're going to go through the motions with all of it. Because that's what emotions, the ocean. You're going to go through the depths of who you are, only to surface again and be like, you know that feeling? Let me give y'all this analogy. It's like you've been drowning, but you didn't die. You've been drowning, but you didn't die. You've been drowning in other people's emotions, in other people's whereabouts, circumstances, how they perceive you. You're drowning in other people's expectations, external things, drowning in the material. And the divine been sitting here like this the whole time. Your inner child sitting here like this the whole time. I wish I could put up both hands, but it's like someone waiting like, hey, it's you. Because once you get to that place, you won't ever lose you again. But you've been losing yourself in the idea of other people and how they perceive you. No longer with, it's no difference in kids. We don't empower them to know that, like I expressed to my princess, I said, you're here to love yourself. You're here to honor and find that love again within yourself. That God within, that source within. That source, like outside of you, people are resources, but you're here to gain the most important aspect of yourself. And that's you inside, the limitless you. I let her know that. Even through my own, sometimes where I can get stubborn, I can be tired. Sometimes I don't want to hear the cries. And I had to connect that to a lot of things to where, well, 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 why do I feel this way when certain people do this? And a lot of that automatically triggers or highlights or illuminates something I still myself need to get through because I don't have it all together. There's things, again, through other people's decisions that I allow myself to just, we allow ourselves, or I myself, cause my own suffering trying to hold on to the idea of what they did, how they did it. How that kept me, how that kept me from really moving forward, how it showed me no one was really in my way. So in standing in that truth and honoring that, those emotions can come up. Everyone has their emotions. That's what part of the human experience is. And so, a lot of which is, again, every time I see me, acknowledge something within myself, I'm realizing, I'm preparing the generation after. See, a lot of us don't want to see the importance in that. That simply means getting up and showing up for yourself. It's a process. I'm not saying, oh, you don't have to go through and do what you. No, I'm talking about in the sense of like whether you get that moment to yourself to just go into a playground. Hint, hint. I had to break free out of that stubbornness. You realize that a lot of things where that stubbornness is or where that blockage is right on the other side of doing something childlike. Going to a playground, riding a bike, going skating, just seeing. You'd be surprised, so you got to realize we have been in environments or we're in environments where we've seen people live out trauma for years. Survival, being in survival for years, and now we're just now here like, God dang, I can live again. I'm really here. I told my partner, I was like, it was literally about to drive me crazy because I was in an environment where I could just rest in peace, be at peace, is this what peace is? Or dang, hold on, why it's so quiet in here? And you're talking about some of us being in environments where you got people that watch TV all day. You got people that's in their phone all day. No judgment, but you got, again, it's always some noise. You got people, I know some people that sleep with a TV on. I'm like, what? No judgment, because that's what I learned is that is their coping mechanism, or that's their, could be even a trauma response. Because they've been in it so long that they don't know anything else. They don't know anything else. And and this is the thing, it's not their fault. They're not the ones to blame. Again, a lot of us, because I've sat with elders, I sat with a lot of people don't know, they don't see the light at the end of the tunnel on what it is and how it is to assess their trauma. How it is, to really be in the presence of someone who actively listens to the pain. You know how the doctor or not, I don't like to say doctor, but you know how somebody get a massage, or you know how you go get a checkup and they're like, do you feel the pain here? And you really got to focus in, and they press it like, oh. I see that connection with a lot of people. A lot of us don't want that pain to be acknowledged because we've been so used to it. That's the reality for some. A lot of us don't want to go and think about what has happened. And then you have some that when they do think about the pain, they can only connect with people, places, or environments that replays the pain. This is the mental health awareness, man. This is why I be telling you how emotionally we as a people, as humanity in the past, have been accustomed to pain, dysfunctionality, division. programmings that have really kept people in a loop or in the dark so long that telling the truth or speaking up or being honest and authentic in a world, in a place, you know, in certain moments can be, people are ready to crucify a person or castrate them in any way, or like just simply devalue and tell them and let them know, criticize them all about what they're not. And all of that is a reflection of their own inner conflict. So again, a lot of things are coming up in the Scorpio season, dealing with death, rebirth, secrets. You know, a lot of things being hidden, being purged out. And in that process of things purging out, you're also giving birth to something new. That's the beauty of it. Scorpio season is about emotions because it's a water sign. So I know all about it. I know all about the significance, how when you really get to the depths of knowing who you are, you'll see the significant role on how it is that the more to the depths you get to know yourself, the more I gotta tell you this. It's like she knows when I'm doing a video. It's amazing. It's like she'll be in her own world, building her little castle thing. Oh my God, it's so beautiful. But anywho, it's just like basically I'm saying it's like the alignment to where. So, again, the deeper you get to know yourself, and the more things will be open up to you. Like when I say I don't compare my journey to no one else, is that how could we? If we're all representing an aspect of God, the creator source, then we're all an aspect, whether unhealed, healed, healing, dysfunction, functional, survival, thriving, because as some go in, some coming out, in, you know. So it's the polarity. So again, these are the moments that are so significant, where a lot of us have, you know, in accepting your paths and what you're here to do comes with the fact of embracing those versions of yourself that you have neglected for so long, those abandonment issues, whether you were abused sexually, emotionally, mentally, physically, all those things are connected to who you are and how you show up in the world. How we look at how we have been showing up and what we have deemed as being normal or classify as, you know, or accepted what is righteous or what is cool, what is a trend. And so, again, it's like I had to learn to be easy on myself. I had to learn what it was again to rest. Like I was expressing to y'all, like with my partner, I was telling her, I was like, man, everything may not be, you know, yeah. Boom. I'm glad I'm about to say this because I'm about to get up because I got to stretch. It's okay to see the best outcome. It's okay to see the best now. Whoever I'm talking to. It's okay now to see the best outcome, because the programming is that a lot of us have been in environments or places where we know we naturally program ourselves or have been experienced or around people that they can only see the worst. But I challenge you to see the best. That means to visualize, to speak affirmations, to say like, you know what, the best is going to come from this because life is not happening to me but for me. Ashe. See the best outcome. And sometimes the best outcome may not look the best. Because you thinking that it's the worst, and in reality, the polarity, that it is the best. That means that it was for your divine protection. That means it was meant for you to go through those circumstances. I don't care if everything was removed, because I've experienced it. I was sitting here self-reflecting on that. 2 years prior, I was in a position where I was out in the cold, still creating my art, in a hotel, pretty much lost. There was still inklings or parts of me that still knew that I had to consistently be there for myself. I had to show up for myself. And see, that consistency has to keep going. As much as you want to show up and challenge yourself to show up for that job or whatever it is and all this other thing, show up for you. Emotionally, mentally, spiritually, physically. Show up for you in ways to where, I don't care if you journal for a minute. Show up for yourself by taking a walk. Show up for yourself by simply taking 5 minutes to breathe. Show up for yourself and challenge yourself to just cry for something that may have happened when you were 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, whatever it was. Show up for yourself when you know that it's not so much wrong or right, but you knew that, grant yourself that grace to be honest. Grant yourself, just tell yourself, I'm worthy of my emotions. I honor my emotions. Grant yourself that, to give yourself access to love yourself again. Give yourself permission. I give myself permission to love again, to show up for myself again, so that I can show up as a better version for myself every day. Oh, wow. What is that? A castle? That's beautiful. That's amazing. You did that by yourself? Give me 5. Ooh. You gonna go down the slide? Oh my God, look at your outfit, Lord, man. It's okay.
Daddy, go say to me.
Go on the slide with you? Okay, Daddy gonna finish this up, then I'm gonna go on the slide with you, okay? Okay. But so anywho, let me say this. Yeah, give yourself permission, man. Give yourself permission to cry. I don't care, man, woman, I don't care. When you look at a child and I see the innocence of them, they don't ask permission until they're taught to ask. They don't ask. She doesn't, to where, she may say or suggest and be like, hey, I want this. She just bluntly, just authentically say, this is what I want. Sometimes when she don't get it, she expresses her emotions. And that's her birthright. And it's no different than us. You trying to get on the camera. It's no different than us. When you see these human interactions and human encounters, be careful. We're no different. A lot of us have been in these predicaments or environments for so many years where we haven't gotten what we wanted, or having to express our needs. And some of that which wasn't really on an emotional level, because it's different for everyone. I myself, I didn't grow up in environments where I can express my emotions thoroughly, with no judgment, not having an active person listening. So through that development, when you get of certain ages, you start to seek these things through the woundedness or through the emptiness or unfulfillment through other people. And see, that looks different for everyone. Whether emotionally, mentally, physically, having parts of people that were going through things that a part of them they were deprived from, a lot of things. Where did this spider come from, Lord? To where, again, now we are trying to just show up for ourselves in those moments now. And it don't have to look a certain way. The surrenderance is allowing it to come up. I know y'all see all this stuff on all these social media platforms and, oh, you should do this, you should eat this, be this, and do that. Man, let me tell y'all, do it your way. I cannot tell y'all, do it your way, because no one gonna do it your way. You may have others, you got people trying to copy everybody. Do it your way. I don't cry the same as you. I don't poop the same as you. My experience is not the same as yours. So my healing journey is not going to look nothing like yours. You trying to be on camera. Oh my God. So, anywho, we finna go have some fun and get on the slide. So I'm going to express to y'all this. Again, I'll have more to add on this, a part 2. Peace and bliss to all, clarity, and know that, thank you, baby. Know that your healing journey doesn't have to look what you see on social media or anything else. A lot of that stuff is a distraction from you. Be the best version of you, and in being the best version of you, you have to see the parts of you that wasn't the best version, that you saw that was the ugly or the worst part. Being the best, oh yeah, that's gonna be this title. Being the best version of you is also seeing and acknowledge the worst versions of you that you wanted to run from and didn't want to accept. So I challenge you to be the best version. And in being that, you got to accept the parts of you, whether from society, family, friends, anybody else. You have to decide to accept the parts or versions of you that people wanted to tell you that was the worst. And in reality, all of this is the best. Peace and blessings. Shalom.